Welcome back to Next Level Rides. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing a Single Turbo N54. So stay tuned and we'll get at it. So we're here with my buddy Taylor. Taylor, what did you bring us?
2009 BMW 335 Xi, it's all-wheel drive that my dad and I built together.
Son of a bitch. So what do you have done to it?
It's kind of a long laundry list. I guess the main things would be it's a top mount single turbo, 8 HP swapped, full port, full E, and that would kind of be, I guess, the important parts of it.
And for fuel system?
It's got a stage 3 low pressure fuel pump with dual 450s. It's got a upgraded fuel pressure regulator. It's got a dash 6 AN line all the way from the regulator to the high pressure fuel pump. I think that's more or less it.
Okay, so you got the fueling and everything else. Big single. What are you running for tuning?
I run two different ones. So I run a pump tune at wastegate, just 14 pounds, custom tuned by Doc Vu.
Okay.
Very conservative, low timing, and then I run a full E85 tune at 28 pounds at the moment.
Nice.
And that's still a little bit more conservative.
Good. And is that with the JB4 or is it a full flash?
So it's a JB4 with an MHD back-end flash.
Oh, okay.
JB4 has saved the motor a couple of times, so I've stuck with JB4 even though some people are against it. And then that also controls my port injection, so.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a hit or miss or a sour point for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you mentioned, JB4 is the best way to do port, and especially if somebody wanted to do methanol injection, for sure. So the car's sitting a little bit lower. What do you have done to the suspension?
So it is factory replacement Bilstein shocks and struts on H&R springs.
Okay.
But it's not H&R springs out of like just regular set. Actually, I stole it off of a cup kit. So it's a little bit different. I don't know if it makes any difference, but it makes me feel special.
Fair enough. Now, regarding the sway bars, I think you mentioned previously that it's a factory Dinan car. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it was a factory stage 3, I believe it's called stage 3, Dinan car. So it had Dinan front mount intercooler, Dinan turbos, full Dinan suspension front to back, sway bars, everything. The Dinan cold air intake, and some other stuff I don't really remember.
Gotcha. So suspension, and I think they did sway bars, and you get your fancy emblems if you spend enough points kind of deal.
Bushing, stuff like that.
Yeah. And for the hood, looks like I could be wrong, a GTS style hood, or?
I don't know what it's technically called, but I'm gonna go with a GTS style or a
M3 kind of mix match, it looks like.
Yeah.
So regarding the headlights, because there's going to be a few people interested in them, other than the obvious carbon and upgraded halos, could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so they're carbon fiber inserts on the inside, upgraded DTM style. I think it's a 3/4 cut, blacked out. I've put a little bit of a blue accent on the inside, and then a carbon fiber eyebrow, all controlled by a ghost module. So color chasing, turn signals are sequential, stuff like that.
Gotcha. And I can see M-style mirrors and a few little things, M side skirts. So for wheels and tires, what do you have set up here?
255 35 19 squared.
Okay, on a 9-inch wheel, I think?
Yes.
All right, well, it's that time again to go for a drive, so let's get going. Hold on. 3 to 5 business days. Hold on, wait. Hold on. And we're good. Nice.
The noise is a lot of fun.
The noise is almost worth it on its own.
Yeah. Fuel economy says no bueno to it, but my smiles say absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that's why they call it miles per gallon. Hey, dude, it's a green light.
Have you ever driven this and just drive?
Nope. Now we are.
It's so nice. I've never used sports mode, so I have no idea about that one.
My 5 Series has like too many different modes. It drives me nuts. Like every button you press, it's like one step up. It's like 12-step process to whatever you want.
But the issue with that is like you go one step up and it's nothing, and then you go the next step up and it's like, okay, now this is too much. And it's like, how do we adjust this?
Oh no, mine's like with the shifter, you put it from D to S, it'll shift higher. You want it to shift slightly higher and slightly faster, sport mode. Slightly higher and slightly faster yet, sport plus. Slightly higher, slightly fat. You know where I'm getting with this.
Yeah.
DSC button, one press. Oh, you want more? Hold it down. You want even more? Manual mode. It's like...
I guess I could set it up like that if I set more buttons for more drive logic modes, but I don't. It sounds like a whole lot of work for something I won't use.
You could probably reconfigure like your, you know how they had the diamond and the star button?
Yeah.
You could probably reconfigure those. Yeah, drive mode is really good.
It's like, it's butter. I wish I had a little bit of feedback, like, and maybe I should stiffen it up one so I get a little bit of feedback. But...
What?
Like, just because I like to know.
Stiffen what up?
The shifts for drive. Just so I feel it shift, because right now you don't feel it shift at all.
That's drive though. It's smooth in drive, and then sport ends up getting harder. That's the biggest thing with the 8-speed is you don't really notice the stiffer shifts until sport mode.
I just can't wait for all the people to be like, should have done the 8HP 70. That 8HP 45 is gonna blow up.
Yeah. Contrary to popular demand, the 8HP 45 is fine. I guess it's one thing we could mention. Like, how many times have you bagged on it since?
Like, it goes out every week and it gets begged to when
exactly.
Anybody drives it. Like, anytime it's ever driven, it's not driven nicely.
Yep.
And it's been months now, and it, like, the adaptations are mint. It has never hiccuped once.
Exactly. Like,
never had a single issue.
And it's, I mean, if I had to calculate 26 pounds of boost, I would have to guess probably around 650 wheel. I think would be a rough, like 630, 650 wheel. I think would be pretty conservative. Well, pretty realistic.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care to dyno it and chase numbers. That doesn't sound like a... I enjoy it, I might as well just enjoy it.
Yep.
Because I know if I go see it on the dyno, it's 610, for example, it's gonna be like, well, let's get it to 650. And then if it's like 650, it's gonna be, well, let's bump it up to 7.
Yep.
It's a never-ending game.
Forever chasing the number.
Yeah, instead of just enjoying it.
But yeah, you could go on a cold day and it makes 40 horse more.
Yeah. Hit red limiter.
Really?
Yeah.
It's at $6,000 here.
Yeah, but it would have hit rev limiter.
But it's $6,000.
Yes. But the digital cluster always has a delay.
Oh. Should I pull over?
No, there you go.
It's that delayed?
Yeah. It's something I've brought up to them, and it's like... It's something I've never gotten. So usually there's like a 300-400 RPM delay.
I literally shifted, it was at 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 1,000 RPM delay. So what should I shift at, 5?
Yeah, like 5,500 I usually shift. And then it ends up being like 66.
N54 things, I guess.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna happen, that's why I was gonna pull it, and I was like, eh.
Well, I pulled it at like 6. I didn't want to like redline it. But it sure makes some cool noises.
Yeah, because up to that, trims were 22 and 25, and my AFRs were both pinged at 12.4.
So basically perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Short shift it because of the fancy cluster. Got it. I mean, it's good that the N54 can take an absolute kicking.
This thing gets abused. Like it non-stop gets abused.
Well, how many times it's hit like accidentally 35 pounds of boost and spun tire at like 120 and...
Yep. It has its issues, don't get me wrong. It's got its hiccups.
Yeah.
But for what it gets put through.
But the thing people need to realize is when you have a car that's this built, you're going to be dealing with...
Oh, yeah.
And it's not always big shit. It's dumb shit. Beamer shit. Stupid shit. All types of shit. Right? Every different size and color, we'll say. But at the end of the day, whatever misfires, rev limiter, all that shit, it's taken it. Right? Like, I would say, what, 100 some odd pulls on this transmission?
Probably more than that by now. You gotta think it's driven every day.
Okay,
and
so...
it's pulled on at least once a day.
Okay, so let's say, safe to assume 100 pulls.
Yeah.
And the adaptations went up, what, 2?
Yeah, every other one more or less stayed the same, and I think one of the clutches went up 2 milliseconds.
That's nothing.
No,
like on a 6-speed, you would have fried it already.
Well, been there, done that. Went through 2 of them.
Yeah, that's true.
In a shorter time and less pulls than I have on this.
Yep. Like, it still handles really well as long as you're not loading the rear too much. Like, it actually stays pretty flat.
You know, it handled a lot better when it was on coilovers, but...
But one thing people need to realize is springs with Bilsteins or Bilsteins or whatever, I find they eat up the imperfections in the road.
Exactly.
A lot better.
And that was the whole idea, but I got tired of driving this thing around the city because it was more of a chore than it was an enjoyment.
Yep.
Whereas I can confidently just drive down our crap roads and not care.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So did I lose a little bit of like, quote unquote performance or something like that? Yeah, but yeah, that wasn't the idea of this. Like, the idea of this vehicle is like America can go drive and she doesn't have to worry about a pothole every time or have to worry about scraping when she wants to go park in underground parking. She can just drive it.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, and the same for me. I hate inconvenience.
Yep.
So do I lose a bit of performance? Sure, but I do a lot more driving than I do ripping around corners.
Man, like, the power band is so good. So it starts spooling hard. Let's see.
Usually like 3600.
36, 38. Whatever the delayed thing is.
It's easier just to look at a log. I think it's like 3600. It starts to really spool. I think 3600. It's at 20 pounds.
That's really good. I like your road map windshield.
Again, it's one of those, I drive the crap out of it and I don't care.
Sometimes it's nice to have a car that already has its flaws, so that when you get that door ding or when you get that scuff from a parking lot, you're not as mad.
Well, and
that was super clean.
That was kind of the whole idea behind it, is when I bought it, it already had a couple dings.
Yeah.
It was one of those, oh, fix it, and then it's like, it's already black paint. I live in the city of Calgary where everything gets destroyed anyways. And I drive it every day. Why am I gonna...
Well, yeah, like if it was a weekend warrior,
why am I gonna worry about it?
Perfect, fine.
Yeah, I don't... for me, as like what I use it for doesn't make sense for me. I will say one thing that needs to change is that open wastegate. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, like I have it on the RX-7 and the Subaru, and if it wasn't for the Subarus being such a pain in the ass to reroute, I would have already done it. Ooh, that's violent. It's really quick.
You know, and I gotta give it to it because that's how I put around. It's like I'm a kid, and then I'm a kid at heart.
Yeah.
So hearing those noises is half the fun of it. I mean, when there's an opening in traffic and there's nobody around me, put foot to the floor. It just doesn't care.
Oh yeah. Like for me, I find that I'm driving this a lot like the Subaru.
It makes you want to drive aggressive. That's the fun part about it.
Yes, but kind of almost make noise, but not. Like how do I even better explain it? Like you drive one gear lower, so the difference in power band is completely negated. It sounds good, and if you want, the power's there, right?
Yep. Yeah, you go, Subi. Oh, he's smiling. He's loving life.
Okay, so that's it. We're done for the drive. Thanks again to Taylor for letting me drive his car. Now, stay tuned for the report card. Let's see how it stacks up. Now it's time to rate the vehicle. The car will be graded on 5 specific categories and given a score from 1 to 10. Its final grading will be based off the combined total points at the end of the review. First up is performance. The performance of the vehicle will be rated based on power delivery, acceleration, based on the modifications and tuning of the vehicle itself. Appearance is second. The appearance will be reviewed based on aesthetics and quality of the exterior modifications, whether eye-catching or obnoxious. Third up is handling. Everyone can go fast, but can it take a corner? Aside from power, handling is a very important aspect that shouldn't be overlooked. Fourth up is customization. A rating given to the vehicle based on its modifications, attention to detail, quality of the build itself, is it done properly or were corners cut? Last but not least, enjoyment. Is the car awful to drive, exhausting, simply amazing, or something in between? Alright, so let's get to it. For performance, I gave it a 9. Now there's a couple of reasons why it received such a high score. The power band is very strong, very broad, and paired with the 8-speed transmission, it's actually a fantastic and amazing driving vehicle. For appearance, I gave it a 6. Now, it does look relatively stock and it does have its blemishes, but that doesn't take away from its completely sleeper-like characteristics. For handling, I gave it a 7. Now, being a factory Dinan car with upgraded sway bars and H&R lowering springs on Bilstein struts, it does turn in very well. It handles very good, and in turn, it's a well-rounded, well-handling vehicle. Now, there are a couple of things you could do to increase its handling, but for now, with the squared setup, it's actually quite good. For customization, I gave it a 9. Now, it received a high score because the majority of the parts and modifications were well thought out. Not only did they upgrade one small thing, but they upgraded everything around it, including the fuel system. I've never seen another N54 with such a thought out, overbuilt fuel system. Along with that, with the port, all of the additional supporting modifications, it's an amazing build. Now for enjoyment, I gave it a 7. Now a couple of reasons why you would end up getting a little bit lower than a few people would end up assuming. Having such a built car, it doesn't give you that comfort or peace of mind on a long trip that something may not go wrong. It could misfire, it could cause an issue, could throw a check engine light like every other BMW. So that peace of mind isn't there, but if you were bombing around town, there's no issue with having an absolute blast driving this vehicle. So final grade, 38 out of 50. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you would have graded this vehicle. A little bit high, a little bit low. Either way, I'd be curious to see what you guys would have rated it. As always, thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.